drives, and we did that for about 4 years. And then, like, sort of basically just disbanded because, you know, members going here and there. And we just never got to release this song. So it's just been sitting in a hard drive for 2 years now.
Yo, what up, everybody? It's yo girl Melissa. Woo woo. How's it going, y'all? It's Friday. Come on, somebody. Ready for the weekend? And today I have an amazing guest with me, the one, the only Joey Solano. Hey. So how's it going? What's new? What's happening?
Doing good. I mean, lots of stuff changing with all this COVID and always having to adapt to the rules of the COVID life.
Yes.
Yeah, just trying to stay on top of it all and stay organized and live my life the best I can. So
that's always good, right? I mean, and yes, the COVID life, I like that. Yeah. That's definitely what we're living right now, is the COVID life, y'all. And let me just get on here, as you know, so I can share and see your comments and know what's happening and what's going on. All right. So let's tell our viewers a little bit about you, because, you know, for new people that don't know you, just give a little background, a little context of who you are, what you do.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say I honestly do a little bit of everything. I went to college, got my degree in exercise science. After that, I started a band and then did that for about 3 to 4 years. Got to do a couple West Coast tours, got to sign with a little independent label out in Atlanta and experience the music life, and then basically got my college career back on track with getting back into the fitness industry.
Nice.
So I've been a trainer for about 2 years now. I've worked my way up to fitness manager, so now I run my own team out in Lakewood. And
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's kind of where
so
I'm
is that what
now.
You went to school for?
Yep, it was exercise science.
Exercise science.
Yep.
Awesome.
So you know, I really enjoy building programs for people. I'm trying to like connect that fitness world now with the music world, and just try to, you know, make it all a feel good vibe and just be almost like a life coach in a lot of aspects. So.
That's so exciting. Okay, the true question is, Buffs or Rams? Which one are you?
I'm Bears, so UNC.
Oh, okay. All right. You're in the same zone, so he's in the same zone. We can't attack him today. All right, all my Buffs fans out there, all right, we're in the same zone.
Nice.
We had to get that out there, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the last, like, nobody knows of the Bears, so I'm like, that's me.
I know, everyone's like, Chicago Bears? What?
Yeah, no, Greeley. Go Greeley.
Like UNC Bears. We just had Greeley in the house. We had Moose Lodge here last week. Yeah, so
awesome.
We got Norco, is that how would you say it? Norco in the house? Northern Colorado?
NoCo, I guess?
NoCo, yeah, okay. I'm adding in the R. That's the Mexican in me. You have to add in the O. All right.
There you go.
We got NoCo representing all week long, all month long, pretty much. So that's exciting. That's exciting news. And so, what is new with your business? So you were talking about like your fitness and that. So how's that going? Especially like during, you know, we're in this pandemic time. How has that hit you? So as far as like people coming into your place, or you being a trainer or management, like how does that like affect you?
I would say it's been a wild ride. You know, the gyms just shut down and nobody had noticed, and they were like, hey, don't come to work tomorrow. And next thing you know, like 3 months has gone by and you still don't have a job, right? So, you know, I spent a lot of time just kind of building my own programs, writing programs for people on the side, just anything to stay afloat financially. So you do have to have that entrepreneur mindset no matter what when you're in the fitness world and want to be a trainer.
Yeah, definitely.
So, you know, there's a lot of just doing things on the fly. And then it's been fun. You know, me and my girlfriend, we started a page called Adventurables.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she actually got me to hike my first 14er, and I had never done something like that. So I'm like, you know, that's cool. You know, how could we get people to connect with that? So our big thing was, let's eat a Lunchables at the top of a 14er.
Yeah.
And then now let's go do that on every 14er. And so we just started calling it Adventurables.
That's so cool. That's really awesome. And where can they find that? Can they find that like on Facebook?
So we got a Facebook page and Instagram. It's just called Adventurables.
Nice.
And so, you know, we're just asking people like, hey, what is your fitness journey? What is your, doesn't even have to be fitness, life journey, etc. Like, we want you to go out and accomplish these things and take the Lunchables with you, send us a picture, share your story, etc.
Yeah.
So we're kind of getting that like up and going, and it's just been so fun to just be creative. You know?
That's cool. That's so exciting. And so, you know, right now, I know kind of a rough topic, but, you know, we have the fires that are happening. I don't know how true it is. I haven't checked my sources, but I heard a little something about Hanging Lake might not be there anymore. So did you guys get to go do Hanging Lake? Have you been on Hanging Lake?
No, I just saw that update as well with Hanging Lake. You know, we haven't been any further than probably like Breckenridge, and you know, that's probably as far west as we've gone. But it is sad to see that. You know, that's a beautiful place from what I've heard and pictures I've seen, and you know, it really does suck that these fires are going on. But then again, that's why there's been fire bans, and even I myself were like, well, that's the whole point of going camping. Like, why can't I make a fire? But I do understand seeing all these fires and stuff,
and it's pretty rough, and it's sad because you think like, oh, I always have time to go do something, right? You always think like, oh, I can go do this tomorrow or next week or whatever, and then unfortunately, these unfortunate circumstances happen, and then we're not able to. I know I was able to do Hanging Lake a couple years back. I was like, I'm gonna do it regardless if anybody comes with me. Do my own little adventure.
Nice.
It probably took me more than what the average person takes to get up there, but I did it, y'all. I did it. Okay.
Nice.
And the 14er is on my next thing to do. So which ones have you done?
Oh God, so we did Bierstadt, Evans, let's see here, Sherman, what's the other ones? She's got a list. There was oh, here we go, perfect, girlfriend saving the day. So yeah, Evans, Sherman, Bierstadt, Albert, Grays and Torreys, that's 2, and then we did what's called the Decalibron, which is 4 in one day.
Yeah.
And so basically you summit one, and then you're kind of at the top of this ridge line, and you knock out the other 3. But that was Democrat, Cameron, Lincoln, and Bross.
So how long do 14, for someone who doesn't do 14ers like myself, you know, I like to take long walks to the fridge.
Nice.
You know, that kind of stuff. So for us who don't do those 14ers, how long does it usually take?
God, I get that question all the time, and honestly, every 14er is different. Like, some of them could take 3 hours, and some of them could take 12 hours. Like, you know, we did 4 of them, and I think it was like 5.5 hours, and then like Mount Albert is the tallest one in Colorado, and that took us like almost 12 hours just by itself. So
yeah,
it really just depends. I think that's the joy, honestly, is you don't know what you're gonna get when you get there. It's just like an adventure that. You know,
is it 12 hours total, or like?
Yeah,
not being naive, is it 12 hours one way? I don't know. Mine would probably take 12 hours.
It's 1 hour and 11-hour nap, and then 10 minutes. No, yeah, it is 12 hours total.
Okay.
The other thing I'm telling some friends, because I do have friends who are like, hey, I want to do it with you, etc. Like, I see Adventureables, I see this, like, can I join along? It's like, well, hell yeah, that's why I started the page. Like, and I just tell them, like, you know, by the time you get to the top, you're going to know what to expect coming down. So, you know, you're in for a ride, and if you're doing it with friends, it's even more fun. So
now, Adventurables. Well, see, I thought I was saying it wrong, but I don't know. Okay. Y'all, you know your girl messed up all the time on words, especially on names.
Nice.
So, on your site, can people just go and join in if they want to, and like anybody, open to anybody?
Yeah, exactly. It's not like you have to like fill out a form to join. It's just, hey, follow the page.
Do you just post like, oh, today we're doing it, like, or do you post it beforehand so people kind of have like a couple days?
So it's been like, hey, we're gonna go accomplish this stuff. We're gonna share it with people and get them motivated. But now it's gonna become more of like, hey, this is what we're doing next Saturday. If you want to join, meet us at this parking lot, etc., and just join in.
Yeah, nice. That's so awesome. Okay, guys, I know, you know, y'all want to go hiking with your girl, but you know I don't get out that often, okay? Not to hikes. But if you want to do hikes, because a lot of you I know always ask, like, what are the hiking spots? Where can we go? Who can we join? Now you know. You got Mr. Solano and his lovely lady, Molly, and you guys can go to Adventurables I'm going to say that wrong. But y'all know I'm going to put in the link. You'll be linked up. So don't worry about how I mispronounce it as of right now. But you can go and check it out. And this will be something fun, new adventure for you guys. And so, masks or no mask, are you requiring people to wear masks with you as you go along on these adventures during this time?
I mean, we're outside, so wear a mask if you want. I don't wear masks outside unless I'm near a group of 10,000 people, which doesn't really happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah, masks is your discretion.
Nice. All right, guys. And so thank you so much for Adventurables. Thank you, Sterling. I knew I'd get it, okay? You just got to write it down in there, and then your girl will get it. So we just want to say thank you for tuning in, guys. You know, we're just starting out the show, and we have our guest, Joey Solano, on today. Brandon, Brand Daddy, up in here in the comments. Mario, thank you for tuning in. Yes, and go Buffs. And let's see, Missy, thank you for joining in. Nicholas, Miguel, a whole bunch of others that, you know, you guys always know that my machine has a delay, so I don't always get to see everybody who tunes in. But we always thank you guys for tuning in, watching in, getting, you know, a little word from us. And thank you. We appreciate you guys. And yes, thank you, Sterling. You know your girl needs help sometimes, okay? Maybe more than a couple times, but thank you, girl. Thanks for helping your girl out. And so, let's talk about your band, because I know you mentioned you started a band from school. So what was the name of that band? I'm excited.
So Mr. Mario there, Mr. Sterling, those guys were all part of that band. Basically, it was just an acoustic act from me and a friend who I went to high school with and then on to college with. And we just wanted to play some songs, and the next thing that turned into was open mic nights, and we just thought it was fun. I ended up working at a hookah bar, like, to get through college, and so that was a really cool place to kind of put together our own open mic nights. And people started asking us, like, hey, are you going to play shows? And it's like, well, there's just two of us, so, you know, I guess we are playing shows. So we wanted to expand and add drums and bass and, you know, whatever we could find. And so Sterling actually had hit us up because we shared a Facebook post just searching for band members. Sterling just slays the trombone. So,
oh, come on, Sterling!
Yeah, he's a horn player. And he actually got us in contact with Mario as well, who played drums in a band prior to our band with Sterling. So, you know, we found Mario. He was our drummer, and then we came across a lovely lady named Alex Villanova. She was our trumpet player, and we just called her our band mom. She was the only girl in the band. So,
okay, I'm going to go with band mom because, you know, I'll probably wreck that name too. So band mom, I see you.
Yeah, so Alex was our band mom. And then we've gone through some bass players, and, you know, bass players here on and off. The one who stuck with us the most was AJ Garner. Him and the guy I originally started the band with were in a metal band together, so that's how we got to know AJ. And yeah, it was just a really good time. We had a lot of support from the community, whether it was Greeley, you know, Parker. We had support from all over the state. And eventually, I actually came into contact with a gentleman by the name of Tom Cook, and so I worked with Tom's daughter at the hookah bar. And she saw me just trying to get this music up and running, and she said, hey, well, my dad likes to help people out, you know, hit him up. So she wrote his name on a little piece of paper, and that piece of paper just went on my desk somewhere. And I remember, like, a week later, I saw that little piece of paper, and I'm like, I guess I'll call this guy. I don't know who he is. And sure enough, Tom met with me. He knew absolutely nothing about the music industry, but was like, I see the drive, and I want to help. Well, long story short, Tom funded us probably $10,000 to $15,000 to record our first full-length album. The guy's just been so prevalent in our life, like, to this day. He's a good mentor of mine, and just, it's like, wow, like, you don't think you meet these people, but they're out there just willing to help, and that was probably the coolest part of being in a band, was just meeting those people.
That's so amazing, and that's so awesome to hear, because, you know, on my show we talk about that a lot, about, like, community and the people that are around you. And one of the things that I had mentioned a while back is that you're always connected to somebody who's able to connect you to that next person.
Right.
That, like, it's only one or two people away to help you with your dream, your vision, whatever it might be, and you never know what opportunities. So when you don't allow certain communities to come and get involved, you never know like what could happen. And just like that, you know, like this person that you work with,
Right.
and I think that's so awesome. That's such a cool story, because it's like, you know, you took the chance. Not only did she give it to you, but like you took the chance, because then it was in your hands, you know, and you took that chance, and like they invested, and that's so awesome. That's so good to hear. And I love that too, because you know, people do see drive and people see passion, and you know, I love that when people see that and they're willing to just put in whatever it is, because they know like you're working hard with you and your group and whoever, but that you guys have the passion and the drive to do it. So that's such an awesome story. That's so cool.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, to elaborate on that, you know, Tom is actually the reason why I started working at 24 Hour Fitness as well, which is where I work now. So
Okay.
Tom, you know, just had all these connections, and he knew that I was trying to get out of the like construction world. I worked at a golf course for probably 10 years on and off, where I was just riding mowers and doing all this construction stuff. And he said, hey, I have a guy in corporate who's like, you know, I don't even know what the guy did, but like,
Yeah.
just go talk to this guy. Well, that guy put me in contact with my, you know, boss at the time, and one thing led to the other, and next thing I know, I'm getting promoted. And like, this guy just has been so, like, such a unique factor in my life personally.
Yeah.
And I just know he definitely has affected more people's lives than just my own. And that's like what I aspire to be as Tom Cook. So
Yeah,
I
that's
should have
so
titled
cool.
the song Tom Cook.
Yes, Tom Cook. Okay, we'll have to tell you the funny story later about the song. I don't know if I should disclose this. Maybe, you know.
Disclose it.
I will. I'm very transparent, even with my mistakes, okay? And I'll let you know later about this song. But Tom Cook, so Tom Cook, you watching? Thank you for being such an inspiration. I love to honor those people, because, you know, they play such a big and vital role in our lives. And, you know, it's not always like a big celebrity or someone well known, you know, and I think sometimes people lose the aspect of giving honor to those where honor is due. So
Right.
Thank you, Tom, for that. That's awesome. Great story. And so what was the name of your band?
So it's called Hypnotic Vibes.
Uh-oh, come on, see what happened at that hookah bar? Get the hypnotic vibes, somebody.
Right. So, like, you know, the whole band life, I tell people that, and they're like, God, that's so cheesy. And I'm like, hey, we honestly came up with it in probably like 10 minutes. Like, you know, there's not very many creative reggae names, and that's kind of the genre we were leaning towards, was like a rock reggae.
Yeah.
And so that's just what we settled on, and we just ran with it, like, with full glory and being proud of that name.
Yeah.
So,
So what is the name of your first album that you guys did?
the very first album was just a little 4-song EP. It was actually just me and the gentleman that I told you I started the band with. That was called Things We Can't See.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And then, you know, once Tom was in the picture, we were the full-blown Hypnotic Vibes, and that album was called Keep On Moving. And that was a song that was just written about, like, kind of my last moments with my grandma, who did pass away. It was probably about 14 years ago, but that woman also was very prevalent, and so we had this drive as a band to just keep on moving. So that was the name of the album.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And you've been keeping on moving, right? You've been
Oh, yeah.
venturing out on your own, and I know that you've been doing some solo work now. And so tell us about your solo music. How's that going?
I would say it's been real slow. You know, my focus right now isn't 100% music, which isn't a bad thing. You know,
Yeah.
I've got a lot of directions that I had to kind of funnel into where I wanted to go, and, you know, it's taken time, but I would say my solo music stuff is just, it's a matter of me writing songs and writing, you know, instrumentals. I like to write a lot of instrumentals before I even add lyrics to it. So I would say I have about a good 7 or 8 songs right now that aren't necessarily finished. They're all kind of, you know, bits and pieces I've been drawing over the last probably year and a half.
Yeah.
And for me, it was just a matter of getting that inspiration as far as lyrics. And, you know, I feel like the last even 4 months of my life, I've really hit in a lot of these inspiring moments. And
Yeah.
I just had to have the adventure to back up the lyrics that are, like, still coming. So
Yeah.
it's a work in progress. It is my goal to release it probably around December of
Nice.
this year.
Awesome. So how has the COVID life challenged you artistically and creatively in getting this done?
COVID life.
Yes.
I would say it hasn't like affected my creativity whatsoever. More so just my day-to-day life at the gym as a fitness manager. Like that's really the only place that it's like truly affected me.
Yeah. So how do you feel like you've been more creative then in this time? Because you want to have it finished right by December, and and like you said, you've been working on it more and everything. So do you feel like, you know, not that COVID's something that we wanted, but do you feel like it's giving you more of an opportunity to work on your music and to work on your stuff and be more creative as an artist to get stuff done?
Yeah, definitely. You know, when like at first I was just locked up at home with the whole stay-at-home mandate, and that was honestly the very first time I brought all of my band gear out of the garage and set it up in my living room and just dusted off the cobwebs of the band life. I got to go through some old, like, we would always save, like, our little sheet that had our songs on it, the set list, etc. So it was kind of cool to go through those memories. And then I just started playing, and I don't know, it's just been fun kind of stepping back into it and just being creative again. I think I had to put that on pause, but now it's fun to bring it back out. And
so do you play musical instruments as well?
I do, yeah.
What do you play?
First instrument was actually the ukulele.
Oh, come on, I love the ukulele. I bought me a ukulele. I got like one song on there. You know, that's all I learned it for, was for this one song.
Perfect. Yeah, I love the uke too, because you need just one finger and you can crank out as many chords as you can possibly think of. And then I picked up guitar after that. I fiddled with harmonica for a little bit, and just had fun doing that. And then I started getting more into piano and keys towards the end of the band life, and then I don't know.
And so you write songs as well. So are all the songs yours from like both when you were in a band, and then of course obviously your own now being single? Right. On the singles.
You know, I did write a lot of the stuff with Hypnotic Vibes, but I can't claim that it's mine. You know, a lot of that inspiration came from a teamwork aspect, and, you know, those songs wouldn't sound the way they sound if it weren't for Mario and Sterling and Alex and Stefan, and, you know, everyone had some input, and in one way or the other, it transforms kind of the way you write. Yeah. Like, if it was just me writing, it would not sound like Hypnotic Vibes. But what it came out to be was just something awesome, and like, you just can't put like a credit on that. I can't take credit for it, you know.
Yeah. So what inspired you with music? Like, where did it all stem from? Because, you know, there's some musical talent in your family, and so, you know, where did it stem from? Like, who inspired you? Where did it all begin? Where did it start?
I mean, I would say I grew up listening to music. My mom was always like buying us like The Wizard of Oz and all these like musicals, The Sound of Music, etc. I used to love just watching those movies. I actually was really big into singing when I was younger, and I would get these like little solo parts in the kids musical and blah blah blah. And, you know, I dropped music because I was so focused on sports, and I just never got back into singing and that kind of stuff. So once I got to college, I was not doing sports as much, and so it was just, I don't know. I wanted to do YouTube covers, and I tried my hand at that, and I was like, I suck. Like, I'm just going to be honest. I can't sing these songs. It was just so frustrating. So then it came to mind, like, well, why not just write your own stuff? Like, you know what your voice can do and what it can't do. So just, like, literally write your own stuff, and that's kind of where it stemmed. And, you know, all of our music was mostly original, if not all original. And we would do some covers, and I don't know. I never felt like I was good at doing covers of music for some reason.
So what's your greatest challenge in artistically writing a song?
Ooh. By myself or with a band?
Both. Yeah. let's get it both. Come on. I know all these creatives are on here watching, you know, musically inspired people. And so, you know, there's a lot of things that, like, what we go through, and, you know, the things that we've learned, and the people that, you know, have inspired us. And, you know, just for our audiences, you know, like, when they tune in, they see new people such as yourself, new artists. You're not necessarily new to the game, but new to the audience. And so there's a lot of things that always inspire people. And so, you know, Always gotta ask those questions.
So you're saying what was the hardest part about writing music?
So what challenges you artistically in
Gotcha.
writing? Yeah.
I don't know. To me, like the instrumental portion of music writing is like probably the funnest part for me. Like I'm just like really moved by instrumental. So like I said, a lot of times I'll just write that instrumental, and based off of the feeling I get from those chords or that chord progression, whatever,
Yeah.
is where my lyrics tend to kind of come from. I mean, we all know a song can sound sad without there being any lyrics saying, hey, this is a sad song.
Yeah.
Hey. And so that's honestly what drives me musically. When it comes to writing lyrics, that's probably the harder part, is because I'll have an idea, and I'll also build like a chorus of a song before I even build lyrics, because that's just like the heart of a song to me, is just that chorus. That's the part people like really kind of cling to. And you know, it's a lot easier, I think, to write a song by myself. Doesn't mean it sounds good.
Yeah.
But it is very challenging taking that song, whether you think it's complete or not, and giving it to 5 other people in a band and saying, hey, you know, look what I created. And you don't know if they're going to just completely smash it, if they're going to say, you know, let's go this way with it, that way. You know, that doesn't mean it's a bad song. It just means like now you have 5 mouths to feed, and, you know, you're all putting your creative input. So I think just from that alone is kind of where I developed a lot of my like leadership skills, teamwork skills, etc. Like I was thinking about it the other day. Like it didn't hit me when I was in the band, but being a musician with 5 other musicians, like it teaches you to become either a leader or to just fail miserably, because you can't afford to like not work together when you're in a band trying to make it your full-time job, you know?
Yeah. What are the you know, for those band members out there, those band groups out there, what is one of the most challenging things you have to overcome as a band, like you and your members? And not just for you specifically, but like, you know, maybe just something that maybe you guys overcame that was difficult. Like, what is one thing that, you know, you have to overcome working as a group? And I think that goes for anything, you know, like when we work in groups at work or whatever it may be, what we're doing, there's always those challenges. So what are one of those greatest challenges that you guys had to overcome?
God, there's so many.
Uh-oh, come on, band.
This is where I trash all my band members.
Uh-oh, watch out, watch out.
No, you know, I would say like my hardest thing to overcome that I faced in the life of the band was cutting corners. And you know, I think to a degree we had some really good stuff going for us. We got to play some really awesome shows like Taste of Colorado and Parker Days, and we, you know, co-headlined a show for the Chiba Hut's 20th anniversary in, you know, Tempe, Arizona. Like,
that's awesome.
Like we had so many cool opportunities, but you know, in my head it wasn't that I wanted to cut corners, it's just that I thought maybe this is the route to go. And looking back on it, I think I was trying to cut corners. And so, you know, I learned pretty quickly about longevity, what it takes to be on that grind, to be patient, like those types of things. And, you know, that's, looking back on it, I think that was the hardest thing that I don't think I overcame it when I was in the band. It was always like, how do I get to the top, and how do I do it the quickest? Yeah. Versus, how do I cherish what I love and build on that until it becomes that I'm at the top of what I plan to accomplish.
Yeah, so good, so good. And I think that just speaks volumes too, you know, about cutting corners. And I think that's like everything in life. Like, you know, you can cut corners and sure you can make it there faster, but it might not be stable, right? You might end up falling. And so how is, you know, we're talking musically too right now, but also how does looking in that aspect help you with being a manager over your gym and being also like a personal coach in that, and how has that helped you learning that lesson into these other parts of your life?
Right. I would say, you know, if we take it into the fitness world, it's almost the same concept. Like, you know, people come to me with 20, 30, 80-pound weight loss goals, and they expect a 2-month solution, or they expect a 4-month solution. And it's like, hey, the reality is, like, if you're doing this correctly and you're doing it for the sake of longevity and for the sake that you're going to love this by the time we're done, you're looking at like a 1 year, 2 year goal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Even to lose 40 pounds. Like, you know, yeah, you could starve yourself, and yeah, you could go run 28 miles and eat a peanut butter jelly sandwich once a day. But until you, like, learn to take that lifestyle and make it a lifestyle, like, you can expect to constantly fall off that train, like, more so than you would have if you just took your time with it, learned to love it, learned to harness the goods and the bads and the, you know, the indifferences, and just move forward at that pace versus, hey, I want to lose 40 pounds by next week because I have a wedding, you know?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I deal with every single day with clients. And, you know, learning to coach people on that longevity, I think, is what opened my eyes to what my problems were being in the band and stuff. So it's kind of just a full 360 for me. Like, I coached to it, and then eventually I learned it and was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, had you taken those steps 4 years ago, I think you'd still be just crushing it with the band. Like,
and also to kind of just, you know, reiterate on it, you know, everybody, I believe, has their own pace, right? So I think everybody, or at least, I don't know, I can only speak for myself. Sometimes you're like, why ain't I there? Like, they're already there, and I've been doing it just as long as them. So how in the pace and the process, like, how is that different, you know, like in fitness and just even in general, like, how is going with that pace and going with that process? Where have you seen, like, the differences and
like the differences between fitness and music, or?
Yeah, like between both of the two.
Oh, gotcha. I mean, I think, like you said, everyone works at a different pace. I think for me, like, my pace was hard because I didn't necessarily have the skills to, like, network with people. And, you know, that's where Alex really came into play. That's where Sterling and Mario really came into play, is those guys just had friends left and right. And, you know, it wasn't really about friends, but it was about making venue connections and sponsorship connections. And like, they were just so good at those things. And I just felt like I wasn't that good, besides, like, you know, Tom Cook just being this saving grace of glory. So, you know, same thing with the fitness world. Like, you know, if you come across a trainer who's a great trainer, awesome. But if you come across a trainer who now puts you in connection with a dietitian, who now puts you in connection with, you know, a different life coach, and, you know, a mental health advisor, etc., like, you know, obviously your health and wellness is going to be far greater than if you just met the one cool trainer, right? So it's like you said, everyone moves at a different pace, and, you know, just building on those connections, like you had mentioned, is so vital in success, whether it's music, fitness, you know,
just
Adventurables, whatever.
Yeah, Adventurables. Okay, you know, we're going to get back to this Adventurables because I got to know, okay, we're going to get off topic a little bit because, you know, he mentioned it, Adventurables. I want to know, what is the best Lunchable to take on a hike?
Turkey and American.
See, I would have picked the pizza, y'all. I would have took the pizza Lunchable with me.
Yeah, I can't be biased because I want to get sponsored by Lunchable someday and just go hike 14ers the rest of my life. But
throw it out there. Speak life over it. Come on, we talk about that all the time. There's power and life and death in the tongue. Speak that out there. Lunchables, if you are watching. My boy over here, you know, he's ready to take you on an adventure. Come on, somebody. Let's see. We're going to get to some of your comments, all right? Mario says, now we're cooking. No pun intended. But Brandon says, let's see, the more brains, the better the aspects, for sure. And he said he would say ego can't have one working I would say ego can't have one when working constructively. Am I misunderstanding that?
We still love you, Brandon.
Unloaded pizza. What is the unloaded pizza? Oh,
unloaded is like the next step up for pizza lovers like yourself. Like,
okay.
There's, like, you know, pizza, but now we're gonna give you, like, the glorious, like, mega.
Okay, come on, Mario. I'm ready for the pizza. Bring it on, all right? You could come over right now. Got the table set up. I'm ready for the pizza. Bring it.
Nice.
As long as you bring a Mountain Dew with it, okay? we're gonna get there. And so, what else has been happening? Like, what, I do want to ask you a question about music. Because we have a lot of music fans out here. And so, who is one artist that has really inspired you in your work and what you do?
I would say Ed Sheeran is definitely a big, inspiration, just based off of like that longevity that we talked about. And I remember just reading a full-blown article about Ed Sheeran and how there was this record of that some guy held of played the most shows in the UK. I think it was the UK. It was like 361 shows or something. And so Ed Sheeran went out and was like, cool, I'm going to beat that record.
Yeah.
In doing so, long story short, the guy finds himself on Jamie Foxx's couch because Jamie Foxx was throwing a party, and because of some connection, Ed Sheeran just landed on this dude's couch.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, just the story builds, and it talks about how, Jamie Foxx was kind of the first in the U.S. to kind of discover Ed Sheeran, and was like, this guy's got something, like, I'm going to tell this person. Well, I think like 2-3 months later, he had like the #1 album in the U.S.
That's awesome.
And just because of this one goal to play as many shows as you can, like, that's what comes out of setting those goals, not just that you hold the record for playing the most shows.
Yeah.
Right.
And goals are so important, because I feel like if you don't have a vision, you don't have a goal, you're wandering aimlessly, right? What do you really know you're accomplishing? You don't have it written down, so how do you know, like, your progress, where you've been? And so what are some of the goals that you have to finish out the rest of this year?
This year?
Yes, for 2020. Come on, guys. We can still have goals in 2020. I know, as we spoke about earlier, because I like how you said that, the COVID life, okay? The COVID life has kind of stumped some of us. But those of out there who, have a different perspective, have a different outlook, we still have goals that we want to finish for 2020 and goals that we want to accomplish for 2020. And they're achievable. They really are. Like, if you really look at it in a different aspect, not cutting corners, guys. This is not the time to mess up the process, but really write down the goals and make them plain. So what would you suggest about, or what is your goals or vision for finishing out 2020?
Gotcha. And I think this question kind of takes us into like the most recent part of my life. The main reason I stopped doing the music is because I just had this desire to serve in the military. My goal was to serve in the Air Force and be a pilot. I just always wanted to fly, and that's another big, was a big bucket list item. And so I put the band on hold basically and said, hey guys, I'm going to take this step, but I need 100% of my time to be towards this step. Like, I don't want to hold you guys back. And, all my best friends and bandmates were so just understanding and on board, and that's why they're my best friends.
Yeah.
Anyways, over the year after I had put a hold on the band, this was about 2 years ago, I spent about 1.5 years trying to get cleared medically. I actually had a big shoulder surgery right at the end of high school. And so, a lot of times the military will have you do your physical, and they'll go through every little thing and, disqualify you for something that could have happened 10 years ago. And so with this shoulder surgery, it was just a matter of getting past the medical side of it. And I spent about 1.5 years. It never really came to. I got so close to getting in as an officer in the Air Force, but my recruiter just failed to get my physical all cleared. So I think there was about 101 candidates shooting for these like 5 spots, and I ended up making the top 5, but I didn't have a physical done, so they couldn't push me to the next level of getting it like in place. And so, that recruiter got fired for actually not doing his job, and not just with me, but with a lot of candidates. And so they gave me a different recruiter, and this guy just called me up and said, hey, like, there's no way we're going to get past this physical stuff. Like, I'm just going to have to disqualify you. And that just killed me inside. So my next step, I remember hanging up on the phone. I was at work, and I just like walked outside. I looked up Navy recruiter officer, called the guy, and just talked to him right there. And he was like, that sucks that happened to you. That definitely shouldn't have happened to you. Like, whatever it takes, we're gonna get it done. So, the very next day I was already asking myself, like what's next, what's next. Well, anyways, another year later, this is 2 years ago now, right?
Yeah.
This recruiter has just gone, to the edge of the earth to get me through the medical stuff. I have done my physical now. I was like approved in the physical, but there's like a medical waiver you got to submit now for the shoulder, and like we have all the supporting documentation, etc. So he's like, dude, I think we're good. Like, we're gonna get you in. We're gonna get your interview. We're gonna do this and that. I took my pilot test, like to qualify for pilot in the Navy. I passed it with flying colors. I just did a couple of flight lessons at Centennial Airport.
Nice.
And so I'm doing flight lessons now.
That was my goal this year.
Yeah.
It kind of stopped, but mine was to get my pilot license this
Nice.
year. So
Cool.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So I know that was a long kind of left turn there, but yeah, that's my goal, is to get into the Navy as an officer and as a pilot. So
That's awesome.
I would
exciting.
say I'm probably a month away from like getting that interview and being a part of that group of candidates to be selected, and so
Yeah.
that's where
And
I'm
so
at
what
now.
makes you want to join?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I can't necessarily say like serve my country. I feel like that's a very cliche, thing to say.
Yeah.
For me, it's more so like I want to continue to be able to develop other people. I want to be able to travel. That's like huge for me.
Yeah.
I can't be cooped up in one place longer than a year, maybe 2 years max, and I'm already on to the next thing. So taking all of those factors with my personality into like bringing it to like a vision, it was like, well, why, like military makes the most sense, because it's a structured lifestyle. I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be going different places, and then on top of that, like, I'll be able to afford studio time and
Yeah.
all the stuff I couldn't afford when I was in a band, and Tom Cook was just helping feed us.
That's for you, Tom Cook.
Yeah, so yeah, I think just all those aspects, just leadership, all that, being able to afford it, being able to travel, it just all makes sense to me, and those are things that I think will just continue to drive that music writing inspiration, and
Yeah.
like I'm trying to just piece it all together now into what is my 10-year plan, 20-year plan, etc.
Yeah, and that's awesome. And so I hear you talking a lot about leadership, and everything, whether it's the gym or, with the Navy and your music. And so what is one thing that you think, how do I want to ask this question? What is one thing that you look for in leadership that you would want to portray as yourself as well?
Yeah, I think the biggest, the thing I'm kind of harnessing in right now on leadership, like, one thing is that you're not going to ever perfect it. I don't think anyone ever is a perfect leader. I think, like, things are constantly changing, whether it's, hey, welcome COVID-19, and now we're going to change the whole game of how the world operates, right?
Yeah.
Every manager out there was affected by that one way or the other, with, having to operate differently, etc. So, just being able to adapt, obviously that's a big one. And then for me is going to be humility. So,
Yes.
can you go to someone, give them a product, have it ripped to shreds, and be able to grow from that versus just crumble into pieces and, not succeed. Humility is just, I think it's something that we stray away from because we don't want to be humiliated, right?
Yeah.
We want to just feel good and cozy and like just good inside when we do something. There's not many people who can get past those little humps of like, hey, this was literally not good. I know you said it was your best work you could have possibly given me, but it was not good at all. Like, to hear that,
Yeah.
who's going to overcome that? I think it's just those people that are good leaders and can continuously do that, and then kind of just develop others into that same kind of mindset. So I think there's two parts to it. One is going to be like your self-growth, and two is going to be like, how do you develop others?
Yeah.
To bring them up to speed and let them learn in their own way, etc. So.
And so would you say that is the greatest quality you think there is in a leader, or would you say something else?
What, humility?
No, yeah.
I don't know. I don't really think, like, me personally, I just can't think of one thing that makes a good leader. I think it's 30, 40 things that you have to be like decent at to continue to be a good leader, because like, you know, you could still get trash talked by someone who didn't like your product and not be successful after that, even though you changed this or that, you know, maybe because your developmental skills or something were off or something. So I think you got to kind of just be on your toes and have your head on a swivel and just be good at like lots of things versus really good at one thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what are your guys' thoughts on that? You know, we always love to hear from our audience, and so question for you guys, you know, what is the greatest quality that you see inside of a leader? And so I think that's a good question, because I think we always look at leadership, and you know, I always believe that we all are leaders in our own way. You know, if there's someone around you, whether it's a child or you're managing somebody, or, you know, there's different aspects in you being a leader, and I think we all have those leadership qualities.
Right.
If you have somebody who follows you, who listens to you, who gets inspired by you, you're a leader to them. And so, you know, a good question to ask, and just so I would love to hear your comments, your thoughts on that. What is one of the greatest qualities you look for in a leader? And so, yeah, we have so many people on here. Sterling asked about, did you bring Bruno? Who's Bruno? Is that your dog? Is this your dog?
That's my Bruno.
Okay. As you can see, you guys, it must have been really cold out there. You know, you guys are, his air is coming out. You're breathing kind of hard over there.
Exactly.
I don't know if you guys can see the cool special effects, you know.
That's what it really looked like, too. No, so that picture, we're actually, this was, I think, my first 14er with Molly. This is actually Mount Evans right behind us here.
Okay.
Right, and obviously you can drive up to Mount Evans to the very top, but we took the hard, scenic, like, 6-hour route, right? So we had to hike up like a 13er, I think it was, and then like descend it, and then cut across, and then hike up the rest of the 14er. So this is that first summit.
Yeah, and I like how you talk about that. I mean, like, I don't know. Come on, guys, you're getting revelation, getting a word with this, okay? You know, they could have went and cut, right? Made shortcuts.
Exactly.
Drove to the top, right? And made it there right away. But like in life, you take the scenic route, right? We go up, we have our ups and downs, you know, but when we get to the end, right, and we accomplish where we're going, like, there's no greater accomplishment than that. And you know, I just think that's so much awesome. I think you've brought in so much life today, and just so much words and so much knowledge here. And maybe even if you don't realize it, you spoke to me today, so there's just so much in that, and you guys can, I don't know, I'm always finding words inside of a word, you know, bringing revelation. Come on, somebody. But that's so awesome, and that's great. And so which one is the highest one in Colorado? Does Colorado have one of the highest ones?
Yeah, Mount Albert.
Mount Albert. Is that the one? No, that was Evans. Evans, okay.
Yeah, Albert was like a 12-hour hike, and it was like the one.
And you've done that one as well?
We've done it, and like we've both agreed, like, I don't think we'll ever redo this one here, so
Invincible team, don't plan on going again. If you missed it, you gotta go by yourself.
You do it, and you send me the Lunchables.
Yes. We'll send you with the Lunchable, but they ain't going with you.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we were talking about Tom Cook, right? That's his name. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna be transparent with you. Okay, I was like, okay, Joey, I need to know the name of your song. You know, this new song that you're releasing. Today is going to be the release of it.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, you guys are getting an exclusive here on Ignite, KUHS Denver, the stream. And for all of our listeners out there, you're getting an exclusive by the Mr. Joey Solano. Come on, somebody. But let me tell you something that's funny, okay? Well, it's funny, but not funny, not to me. You know, maybe later I'll look back and laugh at myself, because I can. But I was like, Joey, you know, what's the name of your song? Okay, so he sent it so we could have it for the radio, you know. And I was like, what's the name of it? And he's like, oh, it's radio. And I was like, oh, I thought that was just the song, like you were saying, like, you know, this is for the radio. So, you know, he should have put Tom Cook on there.
Right, exactly.
So that's just what I'm going with. All right. It was that blonde moment, you know. My blonde is starting to go away, but it's still there, so I still have those moments, y'all. Don't be hating on your girl.
Yeah, so this song, it was recorded right kind of before the end of the band life. So this song is Hypnotic Vibes, and I'm just releasing it from the grave, I guess.
Oh, so you guys are getting an exclusive. We're going to share it right now. So stay here. You're going to get a first look at Radio by Joey Solano. Come on, somebody.
And Hypnotic Vibes.
And Hypnotic Vibes. Come on with them Hypnotic Vibes. Okay, y'all. Throw in some music emojis, throw in those hearts, those likes, go share it right now as you're going to get this exclusive right here on Ignite KUHS The Stream. You're the lead singer?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we were just getting into like pop disco and just making it like kind of more alternative.
Yeah.
Like we strayed away from the rock reggae and got more into just kind of mainstream pop disco. So.
Awesome.
When I was with the band, I'm like, if we don't have a song called Radio that makes the radio, like, there's no point at this point. We'll just quit, guys.
Make that day.
I'll have whiskey.
You're like, alright. That's cool though. Like, I like it.
Distributed in the next couple days.
All right, y'all. How did you feel about radio? Come on, somebody. feeling that jam with the hypnotic vibes. Mr. Joey Solano with them cool, smooth tones, that sound. Come on. So right now, you guys got an exclusive of radio on the radio. Come on, somebody. Come on with that radio. So you can go, where can they go to download this song? Where can they get a hold of it? Because, you know, we had Brandaddy say he needs this song in his mix. I think all of you need to get this song in your mix. So where can they go to get this song?
Yeah, it'll be available probably in the next day or so on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, just every like music distribution place you can think of. YouTube, it'll be available this afternoon. So
guys, you can check it out. You got an exclusive here first from Mr. Joey Solano right on Ignite with Melissa. So we thank you so much for that. Bringing out the vault. Come on, somebody.
No, really, thank you for having me. It's always awesome to just talk and just kind of have open-ended discussions about growth and all the good stuff.
I'm so glad you came on today. I mean, I know, like, I learned a lot from you today. You might not think that, but just, you know, there's always those people, right, no matter who they are, that they come at the perfect time and season in your life to give you reconfirmation, give you a word about something that you've been thinking about or, you know, praying about or something. And, you know, thank you. So thank you for that today, because I really do. There's a lot of stuff that you said today that just re-brought like confirmation for me just in my personal life. And you know, there could be others out there that are listening on the radio, that are listening, you know, live right now, watching on Facebook, YouTube, any social media outlet. And just so thank you for your words and your wisdom. And you know, one thing that I always like to ask, you know, we got a few minutes before we head out here, but what is one quote or one thing someone has told you, one piece of advice that you've gotten from somebody that has always stuck with you, that you'd like to share with our audience, that maybe it will inspire them and change them too?
Yeah, I would say maybe not like, you know, in my past, but me and my girlfriend were just watching this documentary on Netflix called Breaking the Two, something like that. Anyways, it's all these like top-notch runners from around the world who are trying to break the marathon like record of under 2 hours. And one quote that really stood out to that to me was something along the lines of 100% of me is not as great as 1% of my team. So
that's good.
Right, with the whole leadership thing in my forefront, I really took that to heart, and you know, that just inspires me so much to continue inspiring others and build that team and keep that, you know, greater than the 100% of me.
Yeah, and guys, I'm going to just say, you know, because I know some of you out there, like, I made it on my own. Everybody makes it with the team, okay?
Right.
You always got to have someone, maybe they might not be with you when you get there, but there have always been people on the team to help you get there. So say that quote again, because that's so good, and I don't want to say it the wrong way.
Oh, no worries. Yeah, so he said, 100% of me is not as great as 1% of my team.
Take that, write that down, put it in the comments, somebody share it right there. But you know, thank you so much for coming out today, sharing life, sharing all your words and everything that's going on. And you know, I am excited for you and your adventures with the Navy and with your license. I'm a little mellow jelly because I wanted to do my pilot license this year. But you know, that COVID life kind of got us all. Right. But you know, if you have any words that you want to share with your fans, your friends, your followers, any shout outs that you'd like to give, you know, it's take the floor.
Yeah, you know, every person I've ever encountered in my life, I have a, you know, reason to thank you or just say thank you for being there. Whether we had good ties or bad ties, or you know, whether we had good blood or bad blood, I've learned from each of you. And you know, my big takeaway from today is like, no matter like if somebody, whether it's friends, family, etc., supports your dreams or not, you still have to pay it to that person to go out and be successful, because they influenced your life in one way or the other.
Yeah.
So rather than like hate those people or, you know, dislike them, burn bridges, etc., I always use that to motivate me. And I want to just tell all those people, good or bad, thank you.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And then, you know, talking about humility, right? It takes a big person to come and say thank you as well, because you know sometimes again like we put ourselves there and we're like, I'm not gonna say this, man. Like they didn't help me.
Oh, and I love you, Mom. Love you.
Oh, don't forget your mama.
Love you, Mama.
And so, you know, thank you so much. You know, I tried to get Joey to do a live for me, but don't worry, we're gonna have him back, y'all. So drop it in the comments below, because we're gonna get him back to do a live presentation with his music, live singing in the studio. So if you want to see that, drop it in the comments below, because we need him to see that, not just out of my words, okay? Because he's gonna be like, girl, no. Bring the ukulele, bring the guitar, bring everything, bring your amazing vocals. You're such an amazing person, such an inspiration. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. And, you know, for all of you out there, as always, if no one has told you today, you have purpose, you are loved, and you belong. So, yo, man, Joey, woo, woo, and yo, girl, Melissa, signing out here on Ignite with Melissa, KUHS Denver, the stream. Love, peace, and God bless, y'all. Woo.